Is rolling the worst habit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
Is Bowser the peak of masculinity?
Where to find the cherry pie in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green?
Something I learned about myself in my short time of being a content creator is that I love drawing thumbnails. I can never pull myself to create an illustration, but when it's a YouTube thumbnail, I'm an addict. I don't know, there's just something about the comedic potential of a YouTube thumbnail that I'm just really interested in. Although I don't get the chance to make full art thumbnails often because of the types of videos I do. More often than not, showing one of my art pieces on a colored background works better for algorithm and time purposes than spending 2 days creating a splash art for the guy I literally just drew. Then you'd probably ask, Taxi, why don't you do commissions? And that's because no one will hire me. Well, I mean, I never asked to be hired, but enter the rabbit hole of Game FAQs, a forum website for people to ask questions about their favorite games, whenever they get stuck or aren't just purely curious. And from what I've seen, questions range from innocent and inconsequential to justified to crash out and trust me, yeah, I get it. Thus began my quest for the funniest Game Facts questions and turning them into YouTube thumbnails while answering them to the best of my ability. Oh, by the way, just putting it out there, I'm not trying to make fun of any of these people. I believe that there are no stupid questions because video games are inherently stupid and that there are always extremely specific dumb exceptions. I just think that some of these questions are kinda comedic given the context. Spamming dodge rolls became a habit. How do I stop? I haven't learned that spamming dodge rolls was an unhealthy habit until recently. I adapted to spamming dodge rolls ever since 2 years ago, so it became a habit quickly and was basically engraved into my muscle memory. The reason why I spammed dodge rolls was because I thought it was a good way to escape combos and quickly get away from enemies to launch projectiles. Okay, you know, I know I'm a Link main, but like, I immediately just don't want to help them after reading this. Like, I don't want to. I think it's just better if they just stay worse. Like, am I crazy for saying that? I didn't know that it was easy to punish because the level 9 CPUs never did it for some reason. But after I started playing online a lot and played on live arenas on Twitch and YouTube and started to spam, you see what I mean? You see what I mean? I feel like if we like teach this guy science, they're gonna like poison the water wells or something. I don't really feel like we should be using our resources on this guy. They always commented on it, so I researched it and found it was a bad strategy. I tried to learn to stop with my main Byleth, Palutena, Bowser Jr., and Meta Knight. Why are you camping with Byleth? Online, but my finger slips to the shield button and I subconsciously flick the joystick almost every time I try to escape. We're gonna talk about the accepted answer later, but the top voted the top voted answer is maybe a shot caller. Just bought one off of Amazon. This isn't dangerous or going to molest me partially or seriously injure me, right? Alright, man, whatever, dude. This question was one of my favorites during the rabbit hole session because it reads like the world's saddest therapy confession. I get it, burying habits is hard, but it gave me the idea of depicting the thumbnail as a scene where the poster is sitting on the hot seat of their couple's therapy session, contemplating their life decisions, as their main, a tattered and bruised Ganondorf, is sitting behind them, giving them the stinky side-eye for rolling too much and giving him severe brain damage. Side note, my recording is a little lower in quality this time around because I've been snooping around, downloading other content creators' thumbnails, and looking for a good canvas size for my thumbnails. I usually draw them in 4K resolution because that's what I usually draw in, but every time I finish making a thumbnail, YouTube says it's a few megabytes too thick. The correct size is probably around 720p, though I don't know if that's YouTube's condensed thumbnail resolution or the size of the original file. But I think I can get away with drawing in 1080p. The accepted answer to the question of how to wean off rolling is, in short, try to play games without ever rolling. Use other moves like shielding or movement abilities to dodge attacks, then once you aren't completely relying on rolling, carefully incorporate rolls back into your gameplay. Which, I pretty much agree with this. I believe that there are no bad options, such as dodging, rolling, jumping, etc, whatever. Although, there are definitely some exceptions and some moves that are just fake and should never be used. Though it's more about choosing the same extremely vulnerable option over and over again, which allows you to be heavily punished. Especially if the game deliberately punishes you for spamming the same option, like a dodge roll. So it's really important for a player to mix up their defensive options. I mean, you got like 6 of them. You don't need to roll. For 1, shield. Some people in this day and age think they're playing Rivals of Aether and forget that grabbing is an option and mash on shield. This is extremely unsafe and can always be hit by an out of shield option. Just make sure they actually go negative on shield and you use an option that is generally safe and fast enough to punish. Just press the shield button. Now let go of the shield button. Congratulations, you found a mix-up option. Otherwise, DIing, jumping, or even sometimes doing nothing is just better than rolling. Small end note, by the way, don't always dodge out of combos. It's commonly used as a bait, and if you dodge out of it, it's not a real combo. But it basically will be if you air dodge and your opponent just walks up to you and hits you again because you can't move, because you just air dodged. For my next question, I've been playing a lot of Mario games, so I've just been checking in the sections of a Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario Wonder. Anyways, honorable mentions, shout out to that person who really wanted Bowser in Super Mario Party. And also, how do I roll the same number using triple dice? You get lucky like everyone else. Look, if it was that easy not to roll a 3 in Mario Party, I just wouldn't. But the question I ended up going with was this interesting Mario Wonder question, which actually has no answers, but I really don't even know how to answer this, to be fair. Is Bowser associated with masculinity? So I'm starting this discussion in the Wonder Board since he's in all the games and it's the newest one in the series. Is Bowser universally seen as manly? Is he popular with men, or is that just something I've misread? This mostly started with my much bigger cousin when he would pick Bowser in Mario Kart, but I've also noticed him on a lot of men's clothing. Isn't he super popular with men in Smash as well? Nowhere in the post does it say even anything close to this, but all I can hear while reading this post was, "Is Bowser the peak of masculinity?" Which is really just a random thing in my head that I made up, and it reminds me of early era game theory thumbnail titles, so I'm running with it. Meaning I'm turning up the masculine factor by drawing a seething Bowser in the Mario Kart World biker fit at a bar scene surrounded by his club of loving fangirls. The question was so innocent and something that I never really thought about, but I agree with it. Does anyone even dislike Bowser? I don't even mean like impartially, I just mean like heavily dislike Bowser. He's a good father, inconceivably strong, always comes back from defeat, and is high-key the funniest character in the Mario series, and it's not even close. So yeah, I would say that's peak masculinity. And these are some of the reasons why Bowser strikes me as the character that your dad always chooses. Especially with some of the fits Bowser has had. Especially the biker outfit. I saw that one for like 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, that's the dad fit. But if anyone who doesn't have a child picks Bowser, they're most likely a Flying Slam or Bowser Bomb enthusiast in Smash Bros., which is masculinity for an entirely different set of reasons. Camping on the ledge as Ganondorf and Ganon siding is a form of masculinity I don't yet know how to explain, but it's slightly similar to refusing to press the shield button because not taking damage is for cowards. Unless it's a parry because parries are hype. But if you parry a Falcon Punch, you're lame. Oh, also there's the more obvious fact that a big turtle dragon dude that breathes fire appeals to people who like cool things. That's probably a simpler answer. Although I've technically never played Fire Red and Leaf Green, I have watched it being played a lot of times, and considering how I was gonna say remakes, but there's ports on the Switch now, Switch 2, so I was just like, might as well, just out of curiosity. Most of the questions ask for like team comp and like help on difficult fights and cheat codes and of the like. But while being bombarded with all these questions about like which Pokemon is better than which and how to like optimize certain fights, I focused on, is there a cherry pie in this game? On the SSN, a girl in a cabin asked for a cherry pie. Is that there just because, or is that a little side mission? I know that this is the least question of the video because the answer is, there is no Mew under the truck, there is no Yoshi, and there is no cherry pie. The line is quite literally a nothing flavor text line that was programmed for like 2 people to pay attention to. So me and this person from 6 years ago. But I'm purely fascinated by the concept of a person in the year 2020 asking a question about a game older than me on a game forum for how to get an item that literally does not exist. I blame Game Freak. Gen 1 just refused to die. Gen 1 refuses to die. Gen 1, more its original versions, are known for their glitches, creepypastas, and elaborate theories, and one person is hyper-focused on the random cherry pie line. 16 years later, by the way. And sure, some Pokemon games are known for having seemingly nothing lines that actually help the player progress, with, fetching soda pops and lemonades and stuff. But you have to consider, Fire Red and Leaf Green Cherry Pie. Or really, why would you? I'm just saying, back in Not My Day, that's how some kid at the playground convinced you that that was the way to get Jirachi in Fire Red and Leaf Green. And although I act as if this theoretical cherry pie could be anywhere, the SSN is a limited time area that doesn't exist if you leave it. So realistically, it could only be on the SSN. Unless bad game design. So yeah, it could be anywhere. This thumbnail is Red obsessing over the Fire Red and Leaf Green cherry pie, or lack thereof. I somewhat based the design off of Red's appearance on Mount Silver, even though that's technically Gen 2. I just thought that by then, Red has found or is still searching for the cherry pie, and I wanted to play up the intensity. But it really didn't matter, because the skies over Mount Silver were just plain white and were pretty boring, so I replaced it with this plaid blanket pattern with ominous looking scratches. Is rolling the worst habit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Probably not. Is Bowser the peak of masculinity? Sure, yeah, sure, I guess, yeah. And where to find the cherry pie in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green? The answer is nowhere.